Hello everyone, welcome back to a very special edition of Roll, because if you're watching this on December 18th, it's my birthday. If you haven't subscribed already, how about you consider subscribing just for me on my birthday? Enough of that. Rather than doing a very long, extravagant run today, we're going to do a little experiment with the early game and how much money we can earn and how many rolls we can have left by the time we've generated a 97 or 2, because we now have rerolls available in the early game. So we're going to start shopping, but as soon as we come across a reroller, we're going to purchase it for our highest value die, and then just see how things extrapolate from there, because since the new patch, I've been able to get to 197 with around 2150 rolls left. So there's a reroller. I'm going to start by buying the cheaper things, because by buying the cheaper things, their value then contributes to the purchasing of the more expensive things. We're going to grab that here, grab this, put it on the 21, and then normally I would just by default ignore this reroller. I'm like, I don't want that, and that's daft of me. I should at least consider these things and see if they improve the quality of the early game. So I'm just going to keep buying whatever we get, going for the traditional 297s, basically because that's a good benchmark for what we know is possible, at least what was possible in the prior patch. So if we're not presented rerollers, obviously we won't be buying them, but otherwise I just keep buying whatever is presented more cheaply, even when there's two of something the same. Pick the cheaper of them and keep adding to that same face. Then if we get another reroller, we'll obviously put that on a different face, because we can't, even though it says add a reroll, it doesn't mean add a reroll, it means set a reroll. Because if I bought this now and put it on that bottom face, it wouldn't turn it into a reroll twice. It would just replace the reroll once with a different reroll once. So we will buy this, but we will put it on the 5 instead. Then keep rolling, keep refreshing. I do like it when you just roll once and it immediately spits you back out to the shop with the value you've generated. Then even more rerollers there. Now the question becomes, do I want to start trying to put rerollers on all of the other faces as well? Why not try it? We're here, we're experimenting. What better time for an experiment than when you're not really invested in your current scoring. What I would like to see is whether I should keep setting this face up to 97, or now that this is kind of in the 50s to 60s, swap to that other 5 and start building that one up, because then you've got less risk on trying to find one die face, particularly when many of your die face are re-rolling at least once. So we would reduce our variance by having our value spread across more numbers. So we'll keep buying these if they're going to keep offering them to us. There's reroll twice, in fact. So that one's nearly there. We'll take the single reroll, put that on the 1. Now, normally on the 3rd tier of shop, I would also consider buying 6 times 1 rerolls when I get there. But obviously, now, when we get to that point, it's completely redundant since we already have them. And why not keep up with the pattern of buying everything that's presented to us and upgrade the other ones to double rerolls as well. We need a 4 to set that to 97. I know the 2s are cheaper, but I'll just took what was most evident to me on the immediate look. So it certainly looks like we get to 197 quite easily. With 158 already, I will buy the more expensive thing, because then that gives more contribution to the future rolls. Now, how long is it going to take to get this other one up to a second 97? Of course, we don't need the other single reroller, because that's just going to replace one reroll on something else. The number of times I have muscle memoried come back when we could already afford the thing. I almost wish if I was trying to flag something that you were going to buy, it would just let you buy it instead. I think I've seen that suggested on the Discord by somebody else as well. It seems like a sensible idea to me. So, halfway there. 29 rolls left until we hit 2,000. So let's see what we get to. I should have bought something more expensive with that first. And then once we get to 97 on the second face, we will then go through the next part of the early game just to see how long it takes us to upgrade to the second tier of shop as well. Now we can also get ×2 again on one of those other faces. If we manage to get 6 ×2s by the time we finished up here, that would save us buying a 2x on all rolls otherwise. And look, incrementers. We haven't even seen an incrementer yet. If we didn't have any aspirations to not try and reach 99, we could of course take that. But on this occasion, I am going to pass. If I'd seen one much earlier, I might consider it, because we've gone through 500 rolls just trying to get to here. So if we had the incrementer and some of the rerolls that we've been presented with, we could have possibly got a third face up to 99 throughout this process, or just stopped when one got to 97 and the other gets to 99, or there and thereabouts. So I think the 2 was the last thing we needed. So that's 2 97s. I'll leave the rest of the stuff. Jump up to the next tier of shop. Then typically nothing at this tier of shop that I'm super invested in buying, so we'll just jump up to the next tier. And so there we are on a third tier shop, 2 upgrades, third tier, with 1961 rolls left and 2 97s. If we try and get the ×4 there, that goes pretty swiftly as well. And then what else would we normally want at this phase? We'd normally be fishing now for a 6 times reroll on that center dice, which we already have, some of which are even double rerolls. So if we then go to our last tier of shop, we basically get there, including this refresh. So we have 2 97s, a ×4, and nearly a whole dice of ×2 rerolls on 1907. So how about we do that once more, see where we get to on the next one, and then generally start picking out whether I think this is going to be the way we move doing this on the way forward. So let's quit out of that, come home, start a new run. Then we'll try just about the same strategy again, unless we find an incrementer early, in which case we will try and utilize that as well. So for those of you that play and are watching as well, how do you navigate the early game? What do you find to be the best strategy for building up a little bit of early wealth and a good foundation to be moving forwards with? Because I feel like in the last patch it was very simply understood and agreed, but now with the extra variables there's definitely some more options to start building up with for sure. As for me, on my birthday, whilst you guys are watching this today, because obviously I'm recording it the night before, it is a Fan Build Friday, but I'm opting to not do Fan Build Friday today just because there's a lot on my plate and it's my birthday, so I can do whatever I want. But I'm going to be playing a whole lot of Pandemic Legacy Season 0. Over the last 2 years, my partner and her dad have spent a lot of time playing legacy board games. So we started with The King's Dilemma. We played that through in its entirety. Then we did My City, completed that campaign as well. And now we are just about to enter April of Pandemic Legacy Season 0, which is very exciting. Now we do have an early incrementer here, so we will pick that up as well. We did decide to start on Season 0 rather than Season 1, just because I quite like spies and espionage and movies and games of that ilk. So I decided to start with the third in the game because it went Season 1 was Pandemic with Diseases. Season 2 was ferrying supplies in a world cut off from one another. And then after that they did a Season 0, which is the third iteration of the game, where there is a bunch of spying and problems relating to the Soviets trying to create a plague bioweapon. So we've been playing a lot of that and I'm very excited to play multiple rounds of it tomorrow. So we have not seen as many re-rollers as the first attempt through. I feel like we're making far less progress as we come down to past 2200 rolls. There is a 2x re-roller. I think what we will end up doing instead is putting that immediately on the first incrementer. Then we'll pick up another incrementer because that's part of what this experiment is about. We'll stick that there. And another incrementer. So if we're not worrying about primes and 97s and the like, we could end up with a very high scoring individual die by the time we get through this early game this way. Obviously we're going to take the other re-rollers so that we can start impacting the other incrementers. They should work together to help give us a higher score. I'll stick this 2 over there just because point would be wasted taking a 98 to 100 because we would only get to 99. We'll put the other incrementer reroll here, why not? And so I guess we're going to keep going until we get to at least 2 values in the high 90s. We could be adding our pluses to these incrementers, but I feel like we'll get a better spread if we now buy stuff for the other die. We'll get that one re-rolling twice as well. There's a 99. Keep buying stuff over on that left side. another double re-roller. So we've got 1 and 1, 2 and 2. We'll put 2 over here as well. Another double re-roller. Certainly feel like we are shopping faster than we were previously, in that alone that seems like a really dumb statement, but I feel like we're getting to each individual purchase faster than we were previously. And there is another incrementer which we can actually put on the last face that we haven't done anything with. Then we got to around 1950 rolls last time. I'm going to keep buying stuff here rather than just trying to roll out, because by buying stuff we're increasing value in 2 places rather than only on the incrementers as we roll. And if we don't buy stuff as we go, everything's going to get really expensive when we refresh whilst having a very high bank balance. Now, we could also set an incrementer on this face on the left, but I think that's probably redundant at this point. So what we're probably going to end up with is 2 99s that we work our way through purchasing, and then the other die numbers will be low, but with the capacity to grow quickly as we work into the mid-game. And we're definitely getting past the equivalent of 2 97s by 2,000 rolls. Obviously, there's a lot of specific distinction about whether you're trying to go for the 97s and the prime bonuses and the rest. What you could do is the ones that you're manually shopping for, set those to 97s, let the other incrementers work up to 99, and then when you take a set all die faces, click that on the 97, it will set all the other faces to 97 and eliminate the incrementers from the die in its entirety. So that would be an option as well. Right, I'm going to get this 99 going twice. Don't need the rest of this. That one's at 99 now. So I think we'll leave those. We will just upgrade our shop now. Reroll. Upgrade again. Reroll. Now we're looking for a ×4. Obviously last time we had one just immediately there, but that's pretty fast as well. And then upgrade to the 4th tier of shop. So we got there even a little bit faster, 1989 rolls this time. And so that has definitely given me some food for thought about how I go about the early game and how I go about generating score. Because if one of these was now 97, we could buy this settle die faces. All of this would be 97s. It would keep all the reroll properties and the incrementers would be removed otherwise. And then even whilst we have probably just about as many rolls, we're going to spend some here getting to the settled die faces. It's about another 60 rolls to get that. But I think that's probably worthwhile because we've got the ×4, we've got all the re-rollers that we could want for the moment. It's an interesting time, lots to think about, and so I will probably just try different startings on different runs in the future as things progress. But for right now, that's going to be all for today. I hope you have a fantastic Saturday, and I will see you tomorrow morning for something else. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Cheers.